The softball team had a busy weekend. We'll have the highlights from Saturday's doubleheader. Field hockey player Stembele Chikore stops in to talk with our Tucker Moore. And the men's soccer team tries its luck against a national championship team. We've got the story. All this and the latest scores coming up on Wolves Weekly. From the Langford Center studios at Newberry College, this is Wolves Weekly. I'm Paul C. Fisher. It's been a mixed season for the Newberry College softball team. Over the last month, although the Wolves have had some wins, they've remained below the 500 mark thus far. On Saturday, they came into the Smith Road complex 10-17 on the season as they faced a doubleheader against the conference rivals of Mars Hill. Our team was there, and here is that report.
Newberry softball hosted the Mars Hill Lions in a doubleheader. The Wolves walked away with 2 wins. Lindsey Foster started on the mound in Game 1 and pitched a stellar 6 innings. Early in the first inning, Leah Grimes slammed a pitch into center field for an early home run for the Lions. Following that, both teams remained scoreless until the Wolves pulled ahead with scores by Brooke Hodges, Christine Butler, and Maddie Staples. In the bottom of the 6th, Daisy Sarver tacked on another run for the Lions. A great stand by Natalie Westcott and Bethany Pigg and the Wolves defense closed the game. The Wolves took the victory 3-2. The second game saw a lot of batting action. The Wolves scored a run in the first, and then in the third inning, a sacrifice fly allowed Daisy Sarver to score for the Lions. Later, a single to the left field allowed Leah Grimes to get home. This gave the Lions the lead heading into the fourth. Newberry capitalized on a few errors and scored another 2 runs, retaking the lead. In the fifth, Maya Schulter hit a solo home run to put the score at 5-3. The 6th inning saw the Wolves score another 2 more runs. In the top of the 7th, Maya Schulter hit her second home run, bringing in 2. It wasn't enough as the Wolves defense closed out the game with the 7-5 victory. Paul C. Fisher, NCTV.
And the Wolves win both games in the doubleheader by scores of 3-2 and 7-5. This brings the Wolves to 12-17 on the season and 2-2 in the conference. They went straight from last weekend's doubleheader into a doubleheader against Anderson on Tuesday at Smith Road Complex. We'll have the results for you later on this week. And to be honest, there's a whole lot of things that we're seeing with the softball team, but one of the things that I'm seeing that most excites us is the pitching crew that they have. They're able to have both a mixture of experience and young pitchers with sophomore Lex Gleemaker and senior Lindsey Foster, both of which have done great thus far. Lindsey started in the first game on the weekend, pitched 6 innings, and was only able to give up 1 run that was deserved, the rest coming on errors. As a whole, I really just hope that they kind of keep this energy, keep the momentum rolling into the rest of the season, being able to fend off defenders. On the other side of it, though, something that they're noticing is they're allowing a lot of runs in a lot of different games, meaning that some of the positions, specifically in the infield, still need a little bit of work, need to be kind of looked at by the coach somewhat. But I noticed that they're rotating heavily, rotating a lot of players. They have the young players. They have, I think, 4 players who ended up transferring into Newberry, all of which are underclassmen just looking for a spot, looking to play. That combination with the stellar pitching crew that they have, I think, is a good combination. It is something that can really kind of take them here into the middle of the season and hopefully someplace in the postseason as they end to kind of wrap up the season. We're far from the end of the season, though, just kind of hitting that middle mark. So I hope that they continue to use the combination of their pitching staff as well as kind of figure out the infield and be able to find their crew, find their roster that they like to see. Wolves Weekly will continue in just a moment.
Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
My dad was a farmer. The guy was bigger than life. He wasn't someone that liked to show his emotion or liked to show when he was struggling, but we all struggle. I want to show emotion to my kids. It's something that brings me so much joy, and I want them to see me working through things. Allow your kids to know that it's okay to struggle, that even dad doesn't know the answer sometimes, but we're gonna figure it out together.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Welcome back to Wolves Weekly. I'm Tucker Moore, and today I'm joined by field hockey player Stembile Chikore. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. So, just a few weeks ago, you were named by the National Field Hockey Coaches Association a Distinguished Scholar, which for those who don't know, that is you must maintain a 3.9 GPA or above, and also while being an outstanding athlete.
Right.
Not only that, you were only one of 16 nationally to do it for 4 consecutive years. What does that mean for you to maintain that and just have that title?
Okay, so it's such an honor for me because, I mean, coming in my freshman year, it wasn't necessarily a goal. My goal was to just excel and do as well as I could. So looking back on it and, being named as part of the association for 4 years is such an honor, and I couldn't just be more grateful.
Yeah, that's so impressive. So what would you say were the biggest challenges balancing athletics in school at such a high level at that?
I think a lot of the challenges for me came on the pressure that I just put on myself. I do strive a lot on academic success and just wanting to do well academically, and obviously playing a sport as well. I want to do well within my sport, so balancing and finding the right time to allocate to different things, that was something that I had to find a way to navigate, and just at the end of the day, prioritizing, that's something I had to learn, but it was a challenge definitely in the beginning.
Yeah, I think you obviously have very high standards for yourself, and you did what you had to do to accomplish that. That's very impressive. What advice would you give to incoming students or younger teammates you have who are trying to strive both academically and athletically?
I would tell them to really put their mind to it, especially when it comes to time management. That's something that is very cliche and everyone says, but it's very important because, when we do leave college and go out into the real world, we'll have multiple things to juggle. And it starts here. What better place to learn how to manage our time than doing it while we're still in college? And obviously, if academics is something that you're going to need to progress into the future or something that's very important, it would be wise to start doing it now. So my advice would just be learn how to manage your time, prioritize. It's okay not to be the cool person who attends everything, you know, just like put yourself first. And it's a bit hard to do at first, but then it will work out.
That's right. Sometimes things are cliche for a reason. It's said a lot because it's true. So another question I wanted to ask, how do you think being named a Distinguished Scholar, especially for 4 years in a row, that's an incredible feat. How do you think that will help in your career when applying for jobs or, you know, looking for certain positions? How do you think that'll help?
I definitely think it would be something that, you know, would help me, especially because I'm aspiring to go into a competitive healthcare field. So hopefully it shows just how determined I am and sets me apart from everyone else, gives me an advantage. But yes, I do think that it shows just like the dedication and determination I have to achieving my goals in the future, especially going into healthcare too.
Oh yeah, that's very true. And last question here. I just wanted to ask, what was your best accomplishment you would say personally since being at Newberry? What was your favorite moment, whether it be sports, academically, sorry. What was the highlight of your time here?
Oh, I have quite a few. To just narrow it down to one is a little bit hard, but I will say it was pretty good when I got into when I made the SAC all-conference first team. That was pretty nice. That was an athletic highlight of mine. Obviously being named as a fourth-time recipient of this award was also pretty nice. Yeah, I would say those two.
Well, that's incredible. You've had so many accomplishments, and I just know you're going to be successful wherever you go. It was a pleasure having you.
It was a pleasure being here. Thank you so much.
Of course. Wolves Weekly will be back in a moment.
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving.
I definitely can't drive.
Okay.
If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
When I arrived in the U.S. at 19, I struggled to find job opportunities without a high school diploma. Everything I have, my education, my career, my marriage, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and my teachers.
Your achievement has set an example for so many students. Most importantly, your daughter.
Education was the key that unlocked all my opportunities.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free adult education centers near you.
You're watching NCTV Newberry.
For a college athlete, it's a dream to imagine facing off against the best in your sport. Last week, the men's soccer team got that chance when it played against a local club that's won 2 national championships. Victor Hennion talked to the coaches and players, and they shared with us how the experience helped them keep their eye on the goal.
A unique challenge faced the Newberry men's soccer team as they played against Soda City FC, a semi-professional soccer team associated with the United Premier Soccer League. The game took place at the Smith Road complex on March 8th and would end with a tie, with the scores of 2-2.
How would you summarize tonight's game?
Yeah, I was actually really happy with it. Obviously, the score is good. You're playing a good quality team, but we put a lot of things into training this week that we saw in the game, and we got success from it. So we were really happy to see that. We trained it, we brought it out here to the game field, and then we got success from it. So overall, really happy tonight.
I think it went really well. Obviously, the last 3 weeks of practice, we've been working on something new. And so I think it went really well implementing it into the game today. We were able to get a good result against a good team.
Touching a bit more on that preparation and training that you mentioned, did you do anything different for tonight's game?
Yeah, a little different than what we did in the fall. Shaped it up a little differently. We stayed in our same formation, just kind of moved the pieces around a little bit to give us a little more going forward. And it worked perfectly. The formation they played kind of helped us a little bit as well. They played 3 at the back, so us providing a ton of width caused them a little bit of problems.
Do you think it was a great experience for your team? Do you think they developed and gained something from this?
Yeah, it's kind of difficult, something new, we haven't still really worked on it, but, I guess in the second half it was much better for us, something new, it's always like that as a football player, you always come up with something new, so it's difficult in the beginning or challenging for the players, but, at the end, I think it was a good game, also from Newberry, so yeah.
One of the reasons that I wanted to play this game is you're getting older guys. They're just smarter. That's all. They've got more experience. They played longer. They're a little bit more savvy. So it's really, really good for our guys to see that and see how they're minimalist in what they do. Does that make sense? Our guys tend to work really, really hard. These guys work really smart. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so for us, it's good for us to see that sometimes you don't need to run 10, 15, 20 yards to get the ball. You just need to make a little 3-4 yard movement to create a little bit of space. So, like I said, good for us to see them, to see the way that they play, and for us to come away 2-2 against, like I said, against the back-to-back national champions. Feels pretty good.
How has the experience helped you grow and develop?
It's helped me in many ways. Leadership as well. I haven't been in much of a leadership role, and so leading the guys obviously is a pleasure. I couldn't ask for better teammates.
I think it's good for our development because they are an experienced team, older guys, can challenge us in different ways, and yeah, we can improve from that.
It meant a lot. There were a couple of guys on the other team that we know that had come to Newberry and moved on, so we knew the competition was going to be good, and it's always a pleasure to play against great competition.
I think we did pretty good against a good team, good experienced team. They won just 2 national championships in a row, and for me it was a pleasure to play today here against them. That's all.
How would you summarize tonight's game? How did it go?
I guess it was a good game. Like you said, we just came off of national champions. Just trying to get the guys to come back again. It's not easy when you win back to back. To motivate the guys. To channel their mind into the goals for the season. So, and also we're trying something new. Trying a new formation. So, just trying something new with the guys. Because we had a game, in a week and a half against a professional team. When we won the national champions in the fall, we were representing the UPSL, one of the teams to represent UPSL in the Lamont Open Cup. So we're preparing for that. So yeah.
Do you have any advice for playing against teams that are much stronger and more well-trained than you? Is there anything that can be relevant to all sports?
Yeah, obviously effort is the one thing that we push to our guys, constantly. The thing we say is you have to earn the right to have the ball. And so defensively, that's the thing for us. In our conference, you're going to play some of the best teams in the country. And so we got to be defensively sound, make sure that we're not giving up goals, and then everything else comes from that.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. So if you want to talk to your kids, you have to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Jason, let's go see your room.
No, that's not right. How was it? Is it good?
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
It's something about having that piece of paper. Some people think that's worth more than my skills.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
You just gotta be so good they can't ignore you.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Analytics and empathy. That's how I've gained clients.
I am more.
I'm more
than who I am on paper.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Thanks for hearing me out, bro.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Welcome back to Wolves Weekly. I'm Paul C. Fisher alongside with Alexa Gambarino. Now let's get us updated with all the scores that happened over the week. In baseball, the Wolves on a bit of a skid as of late, as the team has lost 6 out of their last 8 games, losing last week to 16-6 against the Trailblazers of North Greenville University. And then they got swept in a 3-game series over the weekend to Lenore Ryan, dropping the first game on Friday 7-4, and then getting manhandled on Saturday 18-8, and then 11-0. With the losses, the Wolves now sit at 12-11 on the season, and they look to get some revenge over the Trailblazers in a single game this week before hosting Mars Hill in a 3-game series coming this weekend.
In softball, quite the opposite, as the team has won 5 out of their last 7, and after dropping a doubleheader against Carson Newman last week. The Wolves rebounded and swept Mars Hill in a Saturday doubleheader, winning close games by the scores of 3-2 and 7-5. Newberry improves to 12-17 on the season and 2-2 in conference play. The Wolves will look to build on their momentum in their upcoming matchup versus Anderson at home in another doubleheader this week.
Moving on to lacrosse, the 19th ranked men's team opened the South Atlantic Conference play in fine fashion, dominating the Tusculum Pioneers 20-6 on Saturday at Pioneer Field. The Wolves started strong, leading 9-1 at the end of the first period. Then the Wolves outshot the Pioneers 52-30 and 13. The Wolves found back on the net before the clock ran out. Newberry improves to 4-2 overall and will return to action this Wednesday against Emory-Riddle University in Savannah, Georgia.
On the women's side, another lopsided victory for the Wolves, as Newberry extended their winning streak to 3 games with a 19-8 thrashing of the Tusculum Pioneers on Saturday as well. Emma Jobs led the way with 6 goals, while Tristan Burns and Lana Howell each scored a hat trick. The Wolves stayed undefeated in the conference play at 3-0 and sit at 6-1 for the season. Newberry will face Slippery Rock University at home this week.
And finally, in tennis, the Newberry women's team scored a hard-fought win, 4-2 victory over the Tusculum Pioneers this past Saturday, dropping the doubles point but securing the win with their singles matches. And for the men, unfortunately, they were swept 4-0, and although they won one of their doubles matches, they were defeated in all of their singles play. The Wolves will return to action at home again on Saturday against the Limestone University. Don't forget that you can find out all of the latest scores, all the latest news, and other information about Newberry College athletics at newberrywolves.com. You can find full season schedules, team rosters, find out about getting official tickets, official merchandise, and so much more, anytime, anywhere at newberrywolves.com. Now, I want to transition a little bit. I want us to talk a little bit about some of the lacrosse games that we have coming up. Both teams are having a stellar start to the season, the women being ranked first in the conference and the men second in the conference. What do you think is the leading factors into their team play so far, Alexa?
I both think that teams are managing a great defense and a great offense. That's why the scores show how they prevail and how they just score those goals, and they're literally right there, both teams, men's and the women's side. The women's are 6-1 and 3-0 in the conference, which is great for them. We have Emma Jobs, which is a midfielder, and she's doing a great job keeping the ball on the side for the Wolves and obviously making those assistants so they can score those goals.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about that offense, though. The women in particular, they're outscoring their teams by an average of 10 goals a game, something that is kind of incredible. This is the best start to the season they've had so far. But that also kind of goes to show that they're not getting scored on a ton either, are they? Talk a little bit about the defense that you're seeing.
I mean, that means that the defense is very strong. Obviously, their offense is always attacking, but whenever they have to contrast the other team, they do a great job, and we can see it on the score, as you just said.
Completely. I hope that they just kind of continue this momentum. Hope to see both teams in the postseason maybe, but I guess they'll have to play out the rest of the season before we see that, yeah, right?
I hope so too, yeah. And that's all for this edition of Wolves Weekly. I am Alexa Gamborino.
And I'm Paul Fisher. That's all for this time. Join us next week for more Wolves Weekly.
When you can't get to the game, Wolves Weekly gets all of the excitement of the game to you. Available on Flow Sports and produced by NCTV Newberry.